Hello everyone, welcome back to Classic Automotive Services. Right, this week we haven't got a massive update to do this week, as the beginning part of the week we were actually moving house, so we didn't actually get much to do, and we're still organising all that. So we're lucky there's a video going out at all this week. So we start with the TR8 engine. The only difference really from last week is that we've got the oil pump all back together on it with new gears, new idler gear, new gear and shaft in there. That's all, tolerances and that are all absolutely perfect now, and we've got the oil filter all on it. The oil filter was primed with oil, ready to run. The pump is got a packing of Vaseline in there, so that should prime up very quickly. Obviously, we will prime it before we fit the distributor once the engine is complete, before we even entertain putting it back in the car and running it. Power steering pump's on, engine mounts are on. That's about as far as we've got with it. We're just waiting for the heads to come back, which I spoke to the machine shop on Friday as I was taking the parts down for the Cortina. They were hoping to have them back sort of Wednesday. So fingers crossed we'll have them back Wednesday, and we can hopefully get the heads rebuilt and back on for next week's video, I hope. So that's the TR8. That's as far as we've got with it. Oh, I've got the brake calipers back from the platers now for it. I haven't reassembled them yet, but they're in the car at the moment, waiting to be reassembled so I can get them done. And the rear motor covers for the cooling fans, I had them replated as well because they're quite visible in the engine bay. So they're all reassembled with the fans and everything back on now. In fact, I'll quickly just grab one. So I've cleaned up all the fans, cleaned all the wiring. So we've got the original colour wiring back because it's got like a bluey green sheath on it. Had the rear motor housings plated, as this sits in the what I call the radiator pack. It's got a big framework which holds the radiator, the cooling fans, etc. So that's all been powder coated at the moment, so you can see the backs of the fans quite easily in the engine bay. And these were quite dull and manky, so I took the covers off and had them plated at the same time, so they look quite nice and new. That's pretty much all we have got on the TR8 this week, as we've been doing the Cortina engine. We got the engine apart. As we showed last week, all we had was the head off of it, and the boards were in one hell of a state. And yeah, we measured it up, and it wasn't even going to. It's already on +20s, and it wasn't going to clean up at +40. So that's how much wear they had in them. It was horrific. I'm surprised it actually run. So we've got a new set of +60 pistons for it, which arrived from Burton's. So they're down at the machine shop now, so they can get on and get the block board. The bottom end of the engine, crankshaft wise, was actually surprisingly good. It was still on its original Ford bearings, original size. It was on standards, and it's borderline whether we'll get away with a polish on the crankshaft. There's one or two sort of like scores in it which may not polish out. So if they do, happy days, we can keep it on standard sizes. If not, it's going to have to be ground to sort of +10s, which is not the end of the world if it does have to be ground. But either way, it's got to be right. So they've got the crankshaft, and hopefully we get away with polish, keep it on standard, but we'll see. We've got the cylinder head for the Cortina all sorted out now. We've got a new camshaft, which we'll move on to in a minute. So here we've got the cylinder head for it. We've done away with the Mickey Mouse colour scheme it had, and we're going back to just plain black for it. And as it's getting tuned a little bit, excuse me, as it's going, I'm having a bit of tuning on it with twin 40 Webers, tubular exhaust manifold, etc. I've port matched the head. So initially we stripped all the head down and checked all the valve guides. Again, they were surprisingly good. I don't think this head is off this engine, as it's a 1300 high compression cylinder head. So yeah, I don't think this head is actually off this engine. I think it's someone's sort of tried to put together in their garage at home, and it hasn't gone very well. So the valve guides were actually pretty good. Tiniest bit of play in them, but again, as we're tuning it, I'd rather have that extra tiny bit of clearance to cope with the extra heat than have them tight. It wasn't excessive play anyway. It was just tiniest bit too much, tiniest bit on the looser side, which yeah, for a performance engine, it's going to be absolutely fine. So what we've done is we've cleaned it all up, decoked all the valves and lapped all the valves in, and then I've port matched it. We've got a Burton power head gasket set, which this one inlet manifold gasket comes in as well. As we're going to have to go plus 60s, we're actually having to have a bigger head gasket, just to, which Burton powers do, just to clear the so it doesn't overhang the bores. So when it comes to port matching, what I mean by that is these ports were considerably smaller than the hole in the gasket. And this gasket is the same size as the inlet manifold for the Webbers will be. So what we've done is I've just laid the gasket on, lined it up with some bolts, and then marked it all out and just opened out the ports to suit the gasket. So there's no step. So that way, when you've got a bigger manifold sat on this side, you don't want the air to be hitting a step. So we've just opened the ports out. Not a great deal, just opened about a little bit and just cleaned them up and cleaned the flashings out inside. We've not gone crazy on it because we're not after maximum power or anything like that. We just improved it a bit. If anyone wants to give porting a go at home, I do recommend giving it a go yourself, as porting work is very expensive to have done. But I'd recommend that you get a scrap head and do it on a scrap head to give it on your first go, just to get the hang of it, as you don't want to go do it on your engine and completely destroy it, and then you need to find another head. So all I use is a Dremel with a carbide bit initially to do the roughing out, and then go finer and finer on sort of flat wheels, etc., to get the finish that you want. On this, I've just left it fairly rough. It's not stupidly rough, it's just slightly rough to finish, which you want on the inlets anyway. You don't want to polish the inlets. And the exhausts, they're not going to, we're not after maximum power, so it's not going to make a lot of difference. So yeah, we've ported the head out a bit, so that's going to help with the performance of it. So we've got some pictures of that actually before and after, and you can see the size difference in the ports, so we'll put them in the video as well. We've got a brand new Fast Road camshaft from Newman Cams. They're one of my top companies now, I think, as well. Can't fault their service. I ordered that on Wednesday and it arrived on Thursday. So every single camshaft I've ever ordered from them, always been really good quality. Service has always been absolutely outstanding, and it's always been next day as well. So can't fault Newman Cams. They're one of the best manufacturers of camshafts in the country. So yeah, can't fault them. But we will show you the old cam as to why we're replacing it. Here we've got the old camshaft. And to the untrained eye, you might think that's okay, but no, it's far from it. First of all, you've got all this breaking up, going through the hardness, pitting sort of looking, which that's not good at all. Secondly, you can instantly tell just at a glance that this camshaft and the cam followers themselves are knackered as well. Not with even without looking at the cam followers, you can tell they're going to be knackered. And that's due to the oil staining markings and the witness marks. This one's a prime example. This dark area is oil staining. The polished area is where the cam follower has actually been running on the cam. And as you can see, it's not actually been running on the actual whole cam lobe. Same on that side. So, which means the cam follower itself's all dished out, which then destroys your camshaft. So that's why we're going for a new camshaft and new cam followers. So yeah, not good. Like I said earlier, I'm surprised the engine actually ran. It was really quite bad. It had broken piston rings on number 2 cylinder as well. That's what the score marks in the bores were. So yeah, that's why it was burning so much oil, blue smoke, blowing out the breathers. Yeah, it was just a poor old way. But with the slight performance package that we're putting together on it and giving it a little more power, it should be a very nice little engine, and it should still be very drivable at the same time. So early part of next week, I'm waiting for the head to come back for the V8. I'm going to get the rocker shafts stripped and rebuilt with the new shafts for the V8. And while I'm doing the rocker shafts, I might as well do the rocker shaft for the Cortina as well. So they're done and ready to go. We'll do a quick little bit on the blue TR7. We're not going to go into what the project's going to be yet, but we'll go into this one quickly. Right, the blue TR7. We actually found time in the week just to get the engine running. There's no wiring loom or anything out in the car, so we had to just rig up some wires to the coil and the starter motor just to get it to go, put some fuel in the carburetor, and it actually fired up very, very easily. We have got a little video of it running, and this engine has been removed and sold. So if anyone's interested in a 2-litre TR7 engine, yes, it is American spec, but you can quite easily put the UK spec twin carbs and in UK spec exhaust manifold on it. It is slightly lower compression than a British engine, but that's actually a very good, sweet engine, and I don't think you're going to really notice that much difference in it with twin carbs and everything on it. The brake horsepower figure, it will be, you really would struggle to feel the difference in it. Especially with the quality of the fuels these days. Although you're supposed to be running high octane, anyway, it really won't make any difference to that. You could run that on a low octane because it's lower compression. Not that I would, because there's too much ethanol in it, but yeah, the engine will be for sale. So if anyone's interested in it, please get in touch with us, and we will be able to put you in touch with the customer, as it's not having that engine in it. That's why it's coming out. It's having something completely different put in there. So that's all we're going to go into on this one until we actually do bring it out and actually go into. We're going to do a complete video on this project of what we're going to do with it. So, but I just wanted to let everyone know that the engine is for sale, and we'll put the video in at the end of the video of it running. It has got an exhaust blow, so it may not sound 100%, but all it is the exhaust blowing on the video. The engine is actually very, very sweet, and it's got 49,000 miles on it from new. The oil is spotlessly clean. If I do that out, there's the oil. Absolutely spotless. So, and no, I haven't changed it. I've not done anything to this engine other than put a distributor in it. All I've done is put a distributor in it, cranked it over and built some oil pressure, put some fuel in the carb, and off it went. So it is what it is. It will do someone a good turn in their car if they want, if they've got a knackered engine. So yeah, please get in touch. But I think that is all we have this week. Yep. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.